Hey guys, Larry C here. You know, I really like jokes about eyes. The cornea, the better. Shout out to y'all. Hope you enjoy the video.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
What's going on, StatCats? It is Mr. C here, and in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to create a basic set of virtual flashcards. Alright, now this is for Chapter 4 of the Elementary Statistics, 14th edition by Mario Triola. No, they don't pay me to say that, but shout out to the coach gang. This is fair use. So yeah, what I have on the screen here is just kind of like an evolving master list of flashcard topics. And so I typically start with something like this. That way I have a game plan of what I want to put on my cards. And you might see that some of the flashcards are a little more advanced or, might deviate a little bit from what you would normally put on a flashcard. And this is actually why I wanted to do the video, is because I want to show you that there's a variety of ways that you can make flashcards. And it's not just, the usual word on the front side and the definition of on the back side. All right, so the website that I'm going to use for this is Quizlet.com. So you can do a quick Google search for that. Just type in Quizlet, and then it's usually the first link in Google. You will have to log in, and then once you log in, you might have to create an account, and I'm not really sure how pricey it is, because I created this a long time ago. But I didn't use it, so hopefully it wasn't charging too much. But you want to go to this button right here where it says create content, and then you can select flashcard set. And then you will need to have at least two flashcards built, as well as a title and a description for your flashcard set before it saves. So that's just a little heads up on that. And you can see I actually already started a set of flashcards. I started doing this last night just for the video. And the flashcard set is this one right here. Probably got a typo there. Let me edit this title. There we go. Probably better than AI's flashcards. All right, so that's the title of my flashcard set, and it's just a little brief description, which I got, got a little tongue-in-cheek here. After mastering these flashcards, you shouldn't have to find the probability of you passing the exam for it. Or maybe I should put for this chapter. All right. So here's what a fresh card looks like. So it says here, enter term. And you can see that the AI is already doing some work where it's kind of predicting what term from the chapter might be next on the docket. And then over to the right, you can enter in the definition, but you also have the choice to reformat some of the flashcards where you have multiple choice options, which I've never used, so I'm not going to go through that. But let me show you some of the things that I have made so far, and then we'll make some live. We'll do it live. So the first card has the definition for event, and then that's one side of your virtual flashcard. Let me get this out of the way. And then the other side of the virtual flashcard, any collection of results or outcomes of a procedure. And I just typed that in. I'm going to go ahead and click done. And I'm going to select flashcards. And here's what it would look like on your screen. So here's one side of the card, the first card, event. And then all you would do is just click it, and it shows you the other side of the card. I'll show you another one that I made. Relative frequency of a probability. So that's one side of the card. And then here's a formula. Okay, P of A is the number of times A occurred divided by the number of times the procedure repeated. We'll go to the next card, classic probability. All right, so number of successes divided by the total number of different simple events. Okay, so number of ways A occurs and number of different simple events. Then the next one, subjective probability. P of A equals the estimation based on circumstances or your gut feeling. An event is considered unusual if. So this is somewhat of a definition. Very, very helpful for students to know this, which is why I included it in the flashcards here. And of course, formula P of A is less than or equal to 0.05. And I think that's it right there. So I'm going to go back to the flashcards. Edit. All right, so we're back to the part where we can edit things. All right. Now, you'll notice that some of the definitions were typed in, whereas others I don't have anything typed in, and that's because I have uploaded pictures for this side of the virtual flashcard. And I'll show you what I did to do that. So let me add a card, and I'll go back to my Word file. So let's say we wanted to build a flashcard for this one, relation between A and A complement. And you can see that the relationship I have that I want students to know is P of A plus P of A complement is equal to 1. So what I'll do is, so I'll get a little creative here. I'll say relationship between the probability of A and its complement. Now over here, what I'm going to do is use my screen capture, or actually the print screen. Hit that, and I'll select this section. That's not it. Create a new Word document, and it should be, yeah, right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click on this, and I'm going to save as picture to my desktop, and I'll say P of A and P of A C for complement. Something basic. Now I'm going to go back to the flashcards, and I'm not going to type anything in here. I'm going to select image, and I'm going to select upload your own, and I'll go to the desktop, and here's the file I just saved. I'll open it, and boom, it uploads it. So I'm going to go ahead and click done just so I can preview that flashcard. Skip over to the very last one. Relationship between the probability of A and its complement. There's our picture. Okay, let me get out of there. Select this, edit, and we're back at it. All right, so this is what I mean by the flashcards maybe being something a little bit different than your standard quo flashcard. Got to do it this way. So one thing that I found was helpful for me, and this was when I was studying Calc 1, was not only just using definitions, let's say derivatives of the quotient rule, or the integration by parts. I found that putting examples on flashcards were helpful too. And then one more thing that I want to show you after this, or maybe a couple of other things. So on one side of a flashcard, I would go as far as to writing down something like this. You know, suppose a couple has 2 births, and the probability of having a boy is the same as that of a girl. Then the set BB, BG, GB, GG is known as a So that would go on one side of a card. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy, paste that. And then nothing too fancy with this. So the answer to this is a sample space. And boom. I found that really helpful for me because a lot of times when students, especially with this chapter on probability, number one, I get a lot of students that ask me, like, how do I know which formulas to use and when to use them? Which I'll get to that in just a moment. But, you know, they have a hard time differentiating definitions, but also situations where you need to use one probability formula versus another one. So I often explain that, well, you don't have to just make a flashcard, you know, in the standard normal way, no pun intended. Make them very personal, okay? If you struggle with knowing how to do the first step of a problem, make a flashcard for it. And you'll be really surprised at how effective that is. If it works for me, it definitely should work for you, all right? So I'm going to add a card. And here's what I mean. I literally would have just one side as like first step. Let me copy that. And it says here the Seagate hard drive model ST4000DM000 has a failure rate of 2.89% in a year based on data from Backblaze Incorporated. If your computer has two Seagate model ST4000DM00013.14 3.14 hard drives, what is the probability at least one of them will work for a year? So that would go on one side. And then on the other side is the strategy. Rewrite P of at least one works as 1 minus probability of both fail. So that's your first step into doing something like this. And you wouldn't believe how helpful this is for students. You know, if you're a teacher, you know that you get some students that are like, I don't even know how to start the problem. Well, here's kind of a solution to that. So I'll just kind of screen clip this. Print screen. Select this region. File. New. Paste it. Right click it. Save as picture. And now I can put first step. Backspace on that so it doesn't think it's a Word file. Hit enter. And upload your own. There it is. Okay, click on that and open. And boom. All right, I'm going to hit done. And we'll preview these. Okay, relationship between the probability of A and its complement. Okay, here's the card we just made. One of the cards we just made. Suppose a couple has two births and the probability of having a boy is the same as that of a girl. Then the set BB, BG, GB, GG is known as a sample space. Okay, first step, the Seagate hard drive, blah, blah, blah. What is the probability at least one of them will work for a year? Backside, rewrite. P of at least one works as 1 minus P of both fail. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead and make the rest of the flashcards when, you know, after the video is over with, but that's basically the idea. It's a really simple way of making virtual flashcards. And what I really like about it is that there's kind of a lower carbon footprint, number one, since this is done electronically. Because some students, you know, they don't have blank flashcards that they can write on. But also, too, you know, this is more accessible since it's online. But another reason why I like to use this website is because you can turn these into games. There was, maybe it was the match. Okay, so yeah, you have options to do things like this, although it's not the best formatting. But let's see, you got relationship between, okay, so these two. and it's just a matching game. An event is considered unusual if the probability is less. So you can do something like that, which is kind of fun. But, you know, there's some things that you can do. See what the test thing does. Okay, start test. Okay, so it gives you multiple relationship between the probability of A and its complement. So you can pick that one. And you can just kind of quiz yourself here. Classical probability. All right, relative frequency for probability, estimation, estimated based subjective probability, any collection of results or procedure that's an event. This right here would be that guy. This right here is a sample space. An event is unusual if this. I submit the test, and boom. All right. So, you know, there's a variety of things that you can do on this website for, I believe, a fairly low subscription cost. And you probably saw, as I was fiddling around with some of these things, that you can share out links to some of the items here. Okay, okay, so you can share the flashcard set. So share a link via email, copy the link. You can type in your email if you want for that. Send email, and it shares the link, and you're able to share this out to students. So that's how you can make a basic set of virtual flashcards. Again, as a review, you know, maybe create these flashcards, at least, you know, a repository for it, you know, in a Word file, okay? You know, just a 2-column table, front side, back side, and, you know, on one side is your definitions or an example or a strategy, and then on the back side would be the actual definition itself or formula or solution or your first step. And you can get really funky with these. You know, I encourage students to build their own. It's a great review, but also they can really personalize it for themselves. You know, tell your students, okay, well, look through some problems, look through some formulas, and just be honest with yourself. Which one of these do you think you're not going to be able to understand or start or remember? And, or, you know, what gives you the most anxiety? All right. And you can build a flashcard just based on that. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today, StatCats. So a little bit of a shorter one. Hopefully that's all right. But if you want the links to any of this stuff, just let me know. Otherwise, you know, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Shout out to you all. Let's keep bossing up.